Welcome to all of our Becoming Your Best podcast listeners, wherever you may be in the world today. This is Steve Schallenberger, your host, and we have a remarkable guest with us today. She is a renowned Syrian pediatrician and human rights activist. Her evolution from growing up under Assad's regime to becoming a symbol of hope and determination is extraordinary. Her comparisons to figures like Malala are well-deserved, as she has humanized the Syrian crisis and shed light on the pivotal role of women in conflict zones. So welcome, Dr. Amani Ballour. Yes, and before we get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about Amani. She is best known for her work during the Syrian civil war, where she managed an underground hospital known as the Cave in eastern Ghouta. And her leadership and dedication during this time were the subject of an Oscar-nominated documentary titled The Cave, released in 2019. And Dr. Ballour was awarded the Council of Europe's Human Rights Prize in 2020 for her humanitarian work. So as we get going today, I'm so excited and looking forward to hearing her story. And I know that every one of us as listeners today, and we're so honored to have you with us, are going to gain some insights and appreciation for the blessings that we have. So Dr. Ballour, tell us about your background, and including turning points in your life that's had a significant impact on you.
Thank you so much for this introduction. Well, I grew up in a conservative area in countryside of Damascus, Syria, and a family of 6 children. I didn't get married like my oldest sisters. I decided to continue my studying, and it wasn't very normal or very allowed for girls to study at that time in my town. So yeah, I had to always, to fight to get my rights since I was a child. I wanted to be an engineer, but I couldn't also because of the thoughts and traditions in my town also, and in the whole area and countryside. And they said, no, you can't be an engineer. It's not for girls. I was very young that time, so I couldn't fight to make my dream get true. But then I was very good at school, actually, and I got a high marks, and that enabled me to study medicine. My family were very proud of me because I was able to study medicine and I will be a doctor because, doctors have like good position in Syria, and I think everywhere. I mean, people respect them. So my family was very happy to find, someone to be a doctor in the family. I started to study medicine, and then I really like it, and I find it's the best way to help people, to help others. I wanted to be a pediatrician because I like children. I wanted to help them. But when I was at the fifth year of studying medicine, the Syrian revolution started, and people started to peacefully protest, asking for human rights and democracy that we don't have in Syria. I mean, just to give a little idea, that in Syria we have a dictator, and before him we had his father for now more than 50 years. They controlled everything in Syria. We have no human rights. We can't say a word about politics, about democracy, about freedom. So yeah, people wanted to live like other people in freedom and democracy and started to protest. And the Syrian regime, unfortunately, started to shoot them and to kill everyone, ask for their rights, and then very quickly started to bomb the areas, the safe areas, use all types of weapons with the Syrian regime, with its allies, Russia and Iran. And yeah, it started to kill everyone also in my town. So yeah, I found myself amid this. I was able to graduate from the Faculty of Medicine in 2012. And then I saw the innocent people in my town. They did nothing, just asked for human rights, and many other people who did really nothing and didn't protest. But the Syrian regime didn't differentiate between them, just bomb everywhere. There is the residential areas, the hospital, the schools. So I see these people and I said, okay, I'm a doctor now. I can help. I had no experience that time, but I can do something to help them. So I decided to stay there to help these people. And yeah, immediately the Syrian regime besieged us, prevent food, medicine, medical supplies, everything, bombed the area very heavily, and tried to kill everyone. So the situation was very bad it lasted for more than 6 years. I never expected that we will stay for more than 6 years in that area. We moved underground to work because hospitals were targets of bombing. Doctors were target. I mean, everyone were target of bombing. So yeah, we were working in underground for many years. So we witnessed many, many massacres. It was, I mean, horrible. There's no words that describe this. After this, we were forced to be displaced of our country to first to north of Syria, and then in 2018
Amani,
I
do you
left the
mind
country.
sharing? It's really hard, maybe, well, it's certainly hard for me and maybe hard for some of our listeners to fully grasp what that must have been like. How did it feel like to live in that kind of a condition?
Well, as I said, I didn't expect that I will live in this area. I mean, to witness a war. I mean, I didn't expect this. I just was, dreaming of having I mean, of having a good life. I mean, to be peaceful. Then I found myself amid of this, and yeah, starting to help the people. And we said, okay, this will end like maybe in many months, or every time we said maybe tomorrow will something happen, maybe next month will something happen. But after this, and especially in 2013, a chemical attack happened. The Syrian regime targeted to safe cities during the night. People were sleeping. So the Syrian regime targeted them by sarin gas, and I mean, like more than 10,000 people inhaled poisonous gas. More than 1,500 were killed that night. Many, many children were killed. They were sleeping. They just were suffocating in front of us. We were just, few doctors, some volunteers. So that was a turning point for me to see this. And I was sure that something will change after this. I mean, using a prohibited chemical weapons against safe civilians and kill them in this way, all these children. I was sure that something will happen. I mean, there's international community, there's big countries will not allow this to happen. But I mean, in the morning after this night, and I can talk, for hours about this night, about what happened in it. And I started writing my book about this night because it was, I mean, horrible. It was the worst thing I witnessed. And in the morning, the Syrian regime targeted us again with other missile, if not chemical, and killed some people again. And nothing happened. I mean, all the people show we are in 21st century. All the people see this, see the videos, many, many videos and photos. And they saw this. And nothing happened, nothing changed. So I realized that, I mean, this is our life now. No one care about us. The Syrian regime want to kill everyone, and no one care. I mean, like they have a green light to kill everyone. So it was really a turning point. I realized that we will last here maybe forever. Maybe all of us will die. Maybe we die tomorrow. But that changed a lot. I mean, so we try, to deal with our new life this way. We decided, I mean, as especially the health workers, to help everyone, do our best, to do our work. So yeah, we moved underground, working in the hospital, expanded, tried to smuggle the medical supplies, everything we need. people in the area make tunnels underground, connect us with other areas to smuggle food and smuggle medicine. So yeah, we try to live every day. I mean, we didn't think about next day. We didn't think about future. I mean, we had no future. We had no hope after this. But yeah, still this, a little hope that maybe something changed. Maybe someone will think about us. Maybe the big countries will stop this. But we were dreaming and dreaming day
Well,
after
thank you for
day for
sharing
more
that.
than six
We
years.
appreciate your insights and feelings and thoughts, and grateful for being able to wake up and live in a place that's safe and secure, and we have freedom and liberty. That's a special blessing, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I'm really appreciate the life I have now, and I mean, I really thankful for the countries which allow me to live peaceful in their countries. Like I was living in Turkey and Germany, and now I'm safe in the United States. I'm really grateful for this. And when I feel like I'm safe here, my kids around me, they are safe, they are warm, they are not hungry, that makes me think a lot about the other children and the other people who still in Syria. I mean, suffering day by day, and for more than now 13 years. I mean, since
Uh,
2011
well, what
till now,
motivated
and
you,
they're
Amani,
still suffering.
for you to share your experience in the cave? And tell us, is that a book as well? There was a documentary made on that. So tell us about it, and then give us some background on that, please.
Well, there's a documentary called The Cave. We call the hospital The Cave because it was underground. It's unhealthy to be a hospital for the patients, but we had nothing to do, but we work underground. It was dark, it wasn't, so it was like a cave. That's why we called it The Cave. And we started working there for, as I said, like nearly 6 years. I mean, when we think that everyone will die, no one care about us, we wanted to document our life there, document what's happening, for the sake of history, to tell everyone the truth, especially when the Syrian regime and its allies started to say that we are fighting terrorists, we are, something like this. So we are not terrorists. There's a lot of innocent people, many, many children. They were dying without, at the beginning, without vaccines, without food, no baby formula. They didn't allow the baby formula to enter. And I witnessed many babies died in front of us. So yeah, we want to document this. And I remember when three cinematographers came to me, and they were also university students. And they carry cameras and start to film in the area. And they asked me to film this, to show the world what's happening. In the beginning, I was afraid, and I said, no, it's dangerous. The Syrian regime, if they see these videos, they will bomb us or destroy the hospital, maybe, or know about it. But then, I said, maybe everyone will die and no one know about us, so let's do it. And they start filming, and they film for nearly 2 years. Also, I didn't expect this for 2 years, and they make this documentary, The Cave, and it's a little known, and yeah, many people saw it. I'm happy that many people saw this and know the truth about Syria. And then I decided to write the book with my co-author Rani Abu Zaid. I'm thankful for her because to me, I mean, the documentary is short. It's like more than 90 minutes, but it doesn't show everything about what's happening. It doesn't tell every story. I wanted to tell the people about all the victims, about everyone, all the suffering of the people, everything happening, about how I feel. I mean, about how everyone feels. Like, my story is a Syrian person's story, but we have millions of story like mine. So through my story, and I started it from my childhood, writing this book, telling the people that we are real people living in these circumstances. We are not only numbers, we are not machines. So we have our feelings, we have our dreams. I wanted to tell everything, to show everything through writing this book. So yeah, I tried to write all the details, and it was very hard to write this book. I mean, to remember again, I mean, many things I couldn't forget about it, but to remember everything in details. I mean, the victims, the children. I was working as pediatrician there, so many stories about the children. I started to remember, their eyes, their pain, their voices. It's very hard, I mean, to write a book like this, but I really wanted the people to know, and maybe to try to help,
Did you write the
because,
book,
as I said, people
Amani,
still
while you were
suffering in
here in the
Syria.
United States, or did you write it while you were in Syria? Where did you write it? Oh yeah,
I was in Germany. No, I was out of Syria. I
yeah.
was in
Okay.
Germany when we start,
And
and then when I moved
so,
here and
how did
continued.
you overcome the First, I've got two questions. One is, where did the idea of becoming a doctor come from for you?
Well, honestly, I I was, as I said, I wanted to be an engineer. I didn't want to be a doctor. But then, because everyone in Syria who got a high marks in the high school, they have to be a doctor. They have to be doctors. Because this is, a general idea in Syria that it's the highest college in Syria. So if you are smart, you have to be a doctor. And this is wrong, of course, it's wrong. But I I remember that my family, like, they make pressure on me to be a doctor. But then when I
Yeah,
started
totally.
studying medicine, I
But how
like
did
it,
you
and I
overcome
find
the
it a good way
barriers in
to help
Syria to
others.
become a doctor?
Well, it's very hard in Syria, but to become a pediatrician, it's not hard. You can be a pediatrician in your clinic as a woman, I mean, but not everything is allowed, for women to do. I mean, as I said, women can't be engineers. Not now. I'm talking about, like, in 90s, like in the early 2000. But now, I mean, it's better. But to be, for example, a manager of the hospital, that make me, be in troubles, because people say, no, not a woman. We don't want to be a woman a manager, because also there were men working in the hospital, so they don't want a woman to control other men. They don't accept this. I mean, many people refuse this and try, to criticize me and talk about me. So I believe that women can do this, and women can do everything maybe better than other men. I mean, I was a doctor like other doctors, so I decided to do this and to prove that women can do that. Because if I failed, I mean, everyone will say, okay, we try a woman and she failed. So I decided to prove for them that women have, this power. Women can lead. Women can change maybe change the world. So yeah, I decided to do that, and it was like a side battle again. Also, beside of all the atrocities there, I
Okay,
have
and
this
you
because
mentioned that
I have
things
to do
are
this because I'm a
better in
woman.
Syria today. So, if things improved, and what's the climate there today?
I mean, not the situation, I mean, for the people in Syria improved, but I mean, these thoughts and customs a little improved. I mean, you can see now young girls can study. I mean, when I was studying medicine, there were only three were female doctors in all my town. They can study, they could study, but now you can find girls go to university. But about the situation in Syria, it's very bad now. I mean, it's very bad. There's like many parts of Syria now, the areas that controlled by the Syrian regime, and the Syrian regime is still oppressed everyone, arrest a lot of people. There's many detainees, political detainees, and they did nothing, only call for freedom. And we know nothing about them. My brother is a detainee. He just disappeared. They don't tell us about him, where he is. We know nothing. I mean, since 2012, and many people like him. There's another area in northwest and another area in northeast. Also, they have many, faction control these areas, but the humanitarian situation is bad. Many people live in camps, and no living in camps just to find a big family, live in a tent in winter, in summer. It's very hard life. And they have nothing. They have no hope. Children can't go to school, so no education for more than a decade. So the situation is very bad. In the neighboring countries, Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan, Syria also live in camps, and they still suffering. So millions of people are still suffering, and they need everything. They need the essential of life. And we always call for help for these people because they
Amani, in what
deserve to
ways
live in
can
life.
individuals make a meaningful impact on global issues? I mean, sometimes, we wake up and we say, I just can't impact this at all. You read about it, you hear about it, but do you have any thoughts on that from your experience?
Yes, I mean, I really strongly believe that one person can make change, and big impact on their communities and maybe in the world. I mean, we many examples about, one person who make a big change, right? So we have just to believe that we can. I mean, we can do everything we want. We just believe in this idea, for example, so we can do something. So, and this is my advice for everyone. You can do something for Syria. I mean, if you live in the United States, if you are safe with your family, just try to, research about other people who are suffering, not only in Syria, all the everyone in the world. Just know about these people and try to do a simple action to help these people. You can just advocate for them. You can just talk about these people for in your, in your community. You can talk to your neighbors about these people. So you think together what you can do. You can donate for these people. There's a lot you can do. You can. This
What's
is
the
very
best
important.
way to make a difference from your point of view? Or some possibilities? Yeah.
The I mean the best Well, the best thing you can do is to, as I said, to believe that you can change the situation. You just try to say this with yourself that this situation is horrible and I don't agree to see this. We don't have to see these children are suffering. And when you see this, and especially the people who live in safe countries, and just believe that as human beings, we are responsible for others, for each other. It's not something that we volunteer to help each other or not. No, it's a responsibility, and we have to do this. So this thought is very important to us. I mean, as I said, very simple action. You imagine if everyone do a simple action, do something to support this idea, you can see a huge impact on this something, for example, to support Syria or other places. So we can see the change. I mean, just
Well, you've
think that
certainly
you
done it
you have
yourself. You've
this
spoken out. You
responsibility to
have
help others.
your story and the cave. And what are some of the key takeaways you hope readers will gain from your story?
Well, when I started working, and helping the casualties in Syria, I had no experience. I was just a medical student and I didn't get training, enough training. So I just started because I believe that I can do something. So believe that you can do something. And also, have these feelings of others. Think about other people, and think that it's your responsibility to help them. Also, this is very important. I wanted to highlight on many very important ideas in my book. The suffering of the refugees, and I'm very lucky refugee. I didn't, for example, go through the sea like many Syrian people who were drowning in the sea. trying, and hoping to go to another side, to have a better life for children. Many Syrians were living with little boats with their children, and they were drowning in front of their families. I mean, this is horrible. And still, many Syrian people and other people from the Middle East and from the East trying to go to Europe or to the United States with very dangerous area, and they still go through the sea. So you can imagine their situation. And in the hosting countries, they still, suffering. I mean, starting a new life in new country, new language, a new community. It's not easy. I mean, a lot of Syrians did this and they were successful, but they need your help. I mean, think about these refugees and try to help them. There's refugees all over the world. I mean, millions of refugees. And so try to help these people. Think about them. I mean, they came here because they suffer enough. I mean, they couldn't live in their countries because it's very hard to live. So they find themselves forced to do this and to leave their countries. No one like to leave, their countries. I love my country. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be in my family house, in my town. There's my memories, everything. We like our countries, but we forced to be here. So try to help refugees. Try to help people who are suffering. Think about the people who live in camps. Just, close your eyes and imagine that you live in a tent. I mean, it's very hard living. We always see this, the wind take the tent away, and the children were, sometimes sleeping on a mud with nothing. Imagine that your children can get an education, can go to school. It's horrible. I mean, many times people ask children from Syria about their dreams, and they say, we dream to go to school. I mean, it wasn't a dream for us. Everyone go to school. You see how the situation changed. So think about also the wars in the world, and unfortunately we still see wars in the world, and very bad situation in many places. So this is horrible. I wrote this book and I wanted to make people aware about the horrors of wars, so it never happened again, but it's happening again. So the political leaders, they did nothing and they make the situation worse, but other people, the civilians, everyone here, us, you can change the situation.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
we
it's
don't
been
want this to
really very
continue
special
happening.
having you on our show today. And we're at the end of our interview. Any final tips you would like to leave with our listeners?
Yeah, thank you so much for having this interview. And yeah, I just will call everyone to help other people in everywhere and in Syria, especially read this book, know the truth about what's happening in Syria, because many people don't know about what's happening in Syria, and they say that it's just civil war. It's not civil war. Read this book, watch the documentary if you can, and know more. And after reading this, try to make a
Okay.
simple
And how
action
can
to help
people
these
find
people
out
who are
about what you're
suffering.
doing?
Well, I'm on social media, available under my name, Amani Ballour. And yeah,
Okay.
you can
Excellent.
read
Well,
my book
well,
and know a
thank
lot
you,
about me.
Dr. Amani Ballour, for being part of this show today. What a great and productive visit this has been. To all of
Thank
our
you.
listeners, we're so grateful that you would join us, and we wish you all the best, Amani, in the work that you're doing. You're making a difference. Thank you. You
Thank you
bet.
so much.
And to all of our
Thank
listeners,
you. Thank you
we
so much
wish
for
you the
having me.
best
Thank you.
as you're working on becoming your best, making a difference in the world. You're doing it. And so grateful to be able to have the privilege to associate together with you. And this is Steve Schallenberger, your host, wishing you a great day.